Hey YouTube, this is Master of Flowers. I'm going to be doing a response video to Anders' "What kind of player are you?" I have actually commented to it, pretty long post actually commenting on it, but I figure it wouldn't hurt to actually do a little bit more on it to help cut my teeth and get used to talking to nothing. So what kind of player am I? I haven't really had a chance to play since the late 80s. None of the people that I hang with and game with now actually are GMs. Pretty much why I've GM'd, continuously, since the 80s. Every once in a while someone tries to game and it just falls through. It's sad, and at this point I've kind of just given up on trying to play and just said, screw it. I'll just put stuff that I like into my worlds. If I really like an NPC, well, the players may get stuck with them, following them around just because I want to, role play that character. But what would I play? I'd probably gravitate towards some sort of skill monkey type. Those seem to be the type of things that I like to play. I do like paladins, and I tend to like the quote crappy classes, the halfling and the gnome. I don't know, maybe because I'm not excessively tall that I tend to play the smaller races. I can tell you that when I do create a player character, he tends to be, I do a lot of background on him, or her, I guess. I could play a girl. I make sure to give them traits that stand out, whether they're in the game rules or not. I give them some sort of trait or something. One thing I like to do is have my players be, my character's afraid of birds. I have in real life, I have a hatred of birds for some reason. I don't know why. So I tend to put that into the game with my NPCs. And I think that if you're playing a halfling, being afraid of a bird, it makes sense. They're almost eye level with you. That could be tough. Besides that, I try to find a few negatives that perhaps happened to them in the character's childhood that has molded them into who they are. I think that, we tend to remember the negatives. They have a sharper edge to them in our memory than the positives that happened. It's probably why knights were slapped on the face at the end of their trials, probably. Besides that, I can't really think of anything else that I do specifically. Basically because I never get to play a character, I really don't have a lot of input. I can tell you what I do for NPCs, but except for the basic stats and stuff and come up with the idea, there's a lot of stuff that you can leave out that you don't have to worry about. Unless they're really going to be like a super NPC that's going to come up many, many times in the game. Then you're obviously do them up as a player character, but there's some stuff you just don't really need to know. You don't tend to need to know what the person's, parents are, or who their grandparents are, or even where they grew up or where they came from. It doesn't seem as important when I'm doing my NPCs. And if it did for some strange reason, that if my players had asked me, for that information, I would probably just ad-lib it and, put it out there. So I guess I don't ramble on any more about it. I guess I'll just kind of leave that where it is. Hopefully I covered something that I didn't cover in the typed up comments that I had put in under his video. Okay, thank you for listening.